Imagine being trapped in a cycle of abuse where your emotions are expertly manipulated by a master predator. Narcissists in the workplace follow a predictable pattern. They love bomb you with flattery and attention, then devalue you, making you feel worthless, and finally discard you when you're no longer useful. This cycle is designed to break you, to extract every last ounce of emotional energy from your being. They crave your reaction, your anger, or your praise to fuel their own fragile ego. Understanding this cycle is crucial to your survival and to ultimately your liberation. Imagine being courted by a charismatic colleague, showered with attention and praise, making you feel like the most valuable asset in the company. This is the love bombing stage, a carefully crafted manipulation tactic used by narcissists to gain your trust and admiration. They will often mirror your interests, values, and passions, creating a false sense of connection. But beware, this is just the beginning of a toxic cycle, designed to exploit your emotions and set the stage for the inevitable devaluation phase. Narcissists are masters of manipulation, and the devaluation stage is where they excel. Imagine being in a meeting and your idea is suddenly shot down, not because it's bad, but because it's yours. This calculated destruction is designed to erode your confidence, making you question your own abilities. They will pick apart your work, your appearance, even your personality, all while pretending to be concerned about your well-being. It's a trap, and once you're hooked, they'll use your reaction to fuel their own ego. But what if you could turn the tables, becoming the gray rock that sucks the life out of their games? Imagine being completely drained, a shell of your former self, after a narcissist has exhausted their interest in you. This is the discard stage, a brutal rejection where you're suddenly worthless to them. They'll humiliate and belittle you, making you feel insignificant. The discard stage is the final act in the narcissist cycle of love bombing, devaluation, and rejection. You're no longer a source of narcissistic supply, and they'll swiftly move on to their next victim, leaving you to pick up the pieces of your shattered ego. Narcissists thrive on a constant stream of validation, which they obtain through a concept known as narcissistic supply. This supply can take many forms, including praise, attention, and even negative reactions such as anger or fear. In the workplace, they cleverly manipulate others to fuel their insatiable need for admiration, often by initiating arguments or conflicts that inevitably draw you in. By engaging with them, you unknowingly provide the very sustenance they crave, empowering their toxic behavior and perpetuating the cycle of abuse. Your reactions are the oxygen they need to survive. Imagine being a gray rock in a river, unremarkable and uninteresting. This is the key to neutralizing a narcissist in the workplace. The gray rock method is a defense strategy that involves becoming emotionally unresponsive, giving short and factual answers, such as "okay" or "I see." By doing so, you deprive the narcissist of the reaction they crave, effectively starving them of the attention they need to survive. This method requires discipline and stoicism, but the result is worth it. The narcissist will eventually lose interest and move on to a new target. Imagine being in a corporate jungle where narcissists roam free, preying on their coworkers' emotions. To survive, you must adopt emotional detachment, a crucial strategy to neutralize their toxic behavior. The gray rock method requires you to become uninteresting, providing only short, factual answers, devoid of emotion. By doing so, you strip them of their narcissistic supply, leaving them starving for attention. This calculated approach will ultimately lead the narcissist to abandon their pursuit and seek a more reactive target, giving you the upper hand in this corporate game of chess. Imagine being trapped in a never-ending cycle of manipulation, with a narcissist pulling the strings. To break free, you must set boundaries, a crucial step in the gray rock method. This involves becoming unresponsive to their provocations, giving only monotone, factual answers, such as "okay" or "I see." By doing so, you strip them of the emotional reaction they so desperately crave, effectively starving them of their narcissistic supply. As you master this technique, the narcissist will inevitably lose interest and move on to a more unsuspecting target, granting you the upper hand in this twisted game of corporate chess. Narcissists thrive on emotional reactions, feeding on the chaos they create. Their power is rooted in manipulating others, often through love bombing, devaluation, and discard. To neutralize them, you must understand their need for narcissistic supply, which is the attention and reaction they crave. By becoming a gray rock, uninteresting and unemotional, you can starve them of this supply, rendering their tactics ineffective. Imagine being a stone wall, impenetrable and unshakable, as you respond with brief, factual answers, stripping them of the fuel they need to survive. To maintain the gray rock persona, you must be calculated and stoic. Imagine being a stone in a river, unchanging and unreactive. When engaging with a narcissist, give brief, factual responses, such as, "I understand," or "that's noted." Avoid emotional language and tone, as this can be misinterpreted as a sign of weakness. By doing so, you effectively starve the narcissist of the reaction they so desperately crave, rendering them powerless. Remember, the goal is to become as uninteresting as possible, forcing the narcissist to seek attention elsewhere. When dealing with a narcissist, beware of emotional reactions, as they can escalate the situation. Avoid taking their bait and refrain from arguing or justifying yourself. Giving in to their provocations only fuels their supply, making them stronger. To successfully gray rock a narcissist, maintain a neutral tone, providing short and factual responses, such as "okay" or "I see." This approach deprives them of the emotional reaction they desperately need, ultimately rendering you uninteresting to them. By remaining unemotional and unengaging, you strip them of their power, forcing them to seek supply elsewhere. Failure to deploy the gray rock method against a narcissist in the workplace can have devastating consequences. You become trapped in a cycle of manipulation, with your emotional energy being drained. The narcissist will continue to exploit your reactions, using them as fuel to sustain their own ego. Without a strategic defense, you risk being pulled into a downward spiral of anxiety and self-doubt, ultimately leading to burnout. Your career and well-being hang in the balance, as the narcissist's toxic behavior goes unchecked, waiting to strike again. Imagine being in a meeting where a narcissistic colleague constantly seeks attention. To neutralize them, you employ the gray rock method. A former employee shared a story of how she used this tactic to defeat her narcissistic boss. Whenever he would try to provoke her, she would respond with a simple "I see" or "okay," showing no emotion. The boss, starved of reaction, eventually moved on to a new target. This strategy is crucial in a dark, corporate environment where narcissists thrive. By becoming the gray rock, you take away their power, and they are forced to find another source of supply. Surviving narcissistic abuse in the workplace is just the beginning. To truly move forward, you must acknowledge the emotional toll it has taken on your life. Imagine being free from the constant manipulation and gaslighting, able to make decisions without fear of retaliation. The gray rock method is not just a tactic, but a mindset, one that allows you to rise above the chaos and focus on your own healing. As you distance yourself from the narcissist, you will start to notice a significant decrease in stress and anxiety, paving the way for a more balanced and peaceful life. Narcissistic abuse in the workplace can have devastating long-term consequences. Prolonged exposure to a narcissist's manipulative tactics can lead to emotional exhaustion, decreased job satisfaction, and even physical health problems. The constant need to walk on eggshells around a narcissistic colleague or supervisor can create a toxic work environment, causing you to feel anxious, depressed, or even traumatized. By adopting the gray rock method, you can begin to break free from the narcissist's grasp, ultimately protecting your mental and emotional well-being. Your silence and lack of reaction will be the first steps towards reclaiming control.